We head to Niger Delta region, where the Ijaw Youth Council's national spokesman, Bedford Berefa, has voiced concerns over increasing military harassment of prominent figures in the Niger Delta region, fearing it could reignite unrest after years of peace. He cited instances of alleged military excesses, including raids on communities and intimidation of leaders. Berefa criticized South-South governors for failing to address the issue, accusing them of prioritizing personal gain over public welfare. Urging swift action to prevent escalation, he warned of dire consequences for the region's economy and stability. Berefa called for accountability to an end to what he perceives as militarization, cautioning against political manipulation of Ijaw lives and assets. And to talk about this, I'm joined live on the news by national spokesperson, Ijaw Youth Council, Bedford Berefa. Good morning, glad to have you join me. How would you, assess the potential impact of increased military harassment on prominent figures in the Niger Delta region on the stability and also economic prospects of the area?
All right. Yes, of course, we haven't condemned the attack of the military personnel at Okwama, but the reprisal attack has led to affecting Ijaw lives, prominent Ijaw people. The other time it was at the Adedugba, where the military allegedly invaded the community, and over 20 lives, about 30 lives were lost in search for the alleged culprit of that Okwama killing. Afterwards, it was a foremost Ijaw leader, Parklak, house that was buckled, that was buckled in search for culprit. And after which, Okokunu community also was laid on siege, and it was most recently it was a good papa, foremost Ijaw leader as well, Jack Rich, that was arrested, and in course of his arrest, about two lives were lost. This reprisal attack calls for concern. It calls for concern because if this is not well managed, it may lead to breakdown of law and order. Because of course, Ijaw people will not fold their arms, and watch our leaders being harassed and being embarrassed, giving national embarrassment every now and then. While they are carrying out their independent investigation to bring the culprits to book, it should be done professional with every high level of professionalism, because we know that when it comes to investigation, the police and the DSS are saddled with that responsibility to investigate and come up with accurate results. And to say that the military will now inaugurate a panel of inquiry, and they are the one are going to inquire for the killing, it is uncalled for. We expect that the Niger Delta governors, the South governors should wake up. It's a wake-up call for the Niger Delta governors that our people are being manipulated. As I speak to you, a report reaching us that the Bomotoro is not go area. There is no going out, no coming in. There is no food stuff. The government cannot go in. Nobody can go in. And it's called for concern, because the region is agitated as a result of this military consistent reprisal attacks by the military. It calls for serious concern. The people are agitated, and if care is not taken, this may just lead to another another round of unrest after 2 decades of peace that the Niger Delta has enjoyed. So it's a call for concern. We call the Niger Delta governor, as IYC, we call on the Niger Delta governors, the South governors to sit up, to wake up and prioritize the security and well-being of us, of that citizen, humanitarian concern of who they govern, more than the fat pocket and fat allocation that is their driving force. We call for them to sit up and hold the bull by the horn. The Niger Delta governor should come together and inaugurate a panel of inquiry, independent panel of inquiry. We have prominent Ijaw people that prominent people in the Niger Delta that can carry out this investigation without fear or favor. So they should beckon on such characters and come together and inaugurate an independent panel of inquiry that will go to Okwama and fish out and look at the practicality of what has happened and come up with proper solution. If this is left to the hands of the military, we all know that the military constitutionally they are bound to protect the territorial integrity of the nation, and not go about investigating and carried out independent investigation. This is a responsibility by the security number one security officer of each of the various states. So we reckon on them to come together to look at this. The federal government also should take this as priority, because it has every capacity to indeed reduce the productivity of oil outputs, and in turn affect the economy of the nation.
Okay, Mr. Berefa, you talked about as a measure to tackling these issues of insecurity or reprisal attacks by the military allegedly in the Niger Delta region as carrying out investigation as to what really transpired. You also mentioned prioritizing the security and well-being of those in the Niger Delta region. What do you mean by that? When you say prioritize the security and well-being of those in that area, if you could just break it down, what in clear terms do you mean by that?
Okay, what I mean, if you watch carefully, if you notice what has been happening, communities surrounding the incident, the Okuama killing, it happened in Delta states. But as I speak to you, communities in Delta states, in Bayelsa state, are also affected. There's no coming out, no going in. The people, there's humanitarian crisis as we speak. The people are living in actual penury, because there's no social social activities ongoing, and that is not what it should be. It is not a war scenario. In as much as we condemn the killing of a military general, we also the lives and property of surrounding neighboring communities, and the community itself is also should be looked at carefully. Now, the current reprisal attack on prominent personalities in Ijaw land. The other day it was Per Clark that his house was burgled, and there is no form of apology, national apology, that has been tendered. It is worrisome. Just recently, it was Jack Rich that was harassed and 2 persons died. We don't know who next will be on the pipeline. And if this is not the state governors don't come together and prioritize these ongoing reprisal attacks and the militarization of the region, it will result to the break of law and order. In clear terms, the governors are saddled with the responsibility to protect lives and property. Currently, the lives of our people, of certain persons, are at risk. Even community that has over 5,000 persons are at risk. There's no coming in, no going out, and there is hunger in those lands where the people don't have anything to eat.
Just to quickly chip in there,
they cannot go for fishing, they cannot go for farming.
Yes, Bedford, just to quickly chip in there, but the military has come out to deny them carrying out these reprisal attacks. So when you say it's the military carrying out these acts, what are your evidences? What are your facts?
We have pictorial evidence. Of course, the Gbomotoro incident. There were incidents, there were pictures that were made available, that we have those pictures where people were shot dead. And we have pictures of dead body of over 30 dead bodies. As we speak to you, a report reaching us that there's no going in, no coming out in that community. They don't allow anybody to go in. Even the governor, even the government, allegedly does not have access to those communities.
But those are pictorial evidences you made reference to.
We also called some persons in the community, and that is the true situation of things. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead, Mr. Berefa.
And so that is a true situation of things. As we speak to you, we receive calls upon call. Our independent as Ijaw Youth Council, of course, you know that we cut across the Niger Delta state in communities. We have representatives, so we communicate with those people that are in the communities. And that is the true situation of things. There's hunger in the land. As we speak, there are communities that don't have gari to eat because there's no movement. There's no movement. There is hunger in those lands, and that is the report that's got to us from our independent search. Those that domicile in the community. That's what we get. There's no fishing activities. There's no farming activities. So people are dying of hunger. There's huge humanitarian crisis as we speak.
That's the most we can take. Thank you so much for your insight on the news. Bedford Berefa, National Spokesman, Ijaw Youth Council. Thank you once again.